So hi and welcome back everyone to another episode of one of our tutorials. On this one we've had a lot of people asking about pipe bending and what it is you need to do and how you do it. So what I've done is I've set this little desk up in my gaming room. I've got all the parts here. I'll run you through the parts and then we'll do a bit of pipe bending. I don't normally do it sitting down, but I'm doing this just so I can show you all the parts. Right, let's get to it. First of all, you've got just your everyday heat gun. You can get these for about 20 quid. Any DIY store. They have a flat back on them so you can stand them up. And then you can basically get your tubes and get them bent. We've got a bowl of water, just a slight little bit of water in there with a bit of like soap in there so that's a bit slippery so that we can get our inserts in. You'll notice on here I actually have like a long insert, obviously the length of the tube. Then you've got a couple of smaller ones for if you're doing like smaller tubes, because when you sort of get down to like tubes like this now, say you've got this already pre-bent and you want to do a bend on the end, what you do is get a little bit of water on there so that's a bit slippery, and that helps it slide in. And then what you could do is you can literally slide it in, and then say you was to bend there, you haven't got all this excess, so it makes it a little bit easier. Here are some pipes we've done before just so you can show the sort of tight bends and how to do it. So right, let's get into this. So first off, you've got your PETG, these are from EK. These are 16mm tubes. They come with 2 in a pack. I think they're around 8 quid for 2. So they're not that expensive, but then the amount of these you'll throw away when you're learning will be quite a lot. So what you do is, you've got like the basic tools. So you've got like one of your fittings, and the way a fitting will work, if I can undo the fitting that is. Once your pipe's bent, basically what you do is you're going to slide this end on, and there's going to be a rubber in there. You slide that rubber down, and then that will just hold there. Then you've got another rubber. I don't even see it there. It's just inside. And what you do is just wet it slightly. Give it so it gets a bit slippery. And then it's literally a simple case of just pushing that on. It's quite tight at first to get it on there. Let me put a bit more water around the outside. And then that will just slip on the end. See it clicked on. And then you push the rubber down, and then basically it will screw on, and then that's how you've got your fitting on the end. So that's just the basic way the fittings work. Pull that off, and that's the thing with hard tubing fittings, they are quite easy to pull out. If you've got soft tubing, they're really tight. Other than that, you've got just your everyday pipe cutter. You just wind in, wind out. It's got a little blade in there. Very simple to use. You literally put your pipe in, get it in the position, lock it down a little bit. So say I wanted to cut there, you just tighten it up, and then it's just simple. Just twist it round. Tighten up a bit more. Twist it round again. Tighten up a bit more. It's a bit fiddly whilst I'm sitting at this desk, but it is what it is. And then you basically just keep going around, tighten it a bit more as you go, and then eventually it will just pop off, give you a nice clean cut. And then you can just literally, with a little bit of paper, just rub the inside edge because it's sharp, and the outside edge. Because what you don't want to do is when you push this in, you don't want this little sharp edge here to cut the rubber of one of the washers in there, otherwise you get a leak. But yeah, so right, let's get into some bending anyway, as that's what I came here to do. You got this other tool as well, which is you can scrape it in there and it smooths the end off, but I don't really like using them. And if you're wondering about these two things, these are what me and Jansen, basically they're homemade pipe benders. So most people will use a pipe bending kit, and what they'll do is they'll set it up on a desk, they'll heat the tube up, and then they'll lay it over it, and it'll give them the angle they want. We don't like doing that because it stretches it stretches the outside. If you notice on our pipes here, there's no stretch marks, there's no kinks. Everything is perfectly smooth all the way around. And that's because of the way we do our pipes. So when we do it, rather than bending it round the outside of something, me and Jansen, one of us will hold these. These are only homemade pieces of wood with handles on, like garden fence handles. So say, for instance, we wanted a 90-degree angle. What we'd do is, we'll put them on the table like that, and they'll be locked into place by someone holding them. So Jansen will hold them and I'll bend. And then what we'll do is, I'll do this with the soft pipe, because obviously they're hard, I can't show you. We'd heat it up over the top of the gun. Then when it starts getting a bit softer and starts to sag a little bit, then what we do is one holds these at the angle, whether it's that angle, whatever angle you want. And then the other person, if you can see this, I'll try and do it where you can see it. The other person will then push the tubing into the space like that. And as you see, it's so much less effort than trying to just bend it. Because all you're doing, literally, someone's holding these. And you just see, as I push it in, I'm not even putting no effort on it. Look, it will go into that corner and it will get as tight as you want it to be. And then you just hold it there. And then once that's like got dry, it will go solid. And that's when you've got a bend like that. When you're doing bends like this one, obviously the 90 degrees and like this, the corner bends are really easy to do in that like that. But if you used to do one like this, it's a whole different story. So it's more about how you heat it. Right, let's get this cleared up. So I'm going to put these out of the way for a second, so we got a bit more space. Because like bends like these, you know, you've got to sort of heat it. So you get your gun, and then you pretty much, this is where the tough bit is, you get your insert, you put that in. So we'll do that first, so that's ready to go. And say we're going to use this one. So what I do is I just get this all nice and slippery and wet. Try not to get water everywhere. Slide that in there. And what these inserts do is they stop the pipe from crushing when you bend it. Because obviously if I heat this up and then I bend it, the pipe's going to go all sagging. It's going to shrink. It's going to expand. It's going to look horrible. And what these inserts do is they stop that from getting squashed. So when you bend it, it keeps its shape. So you definitely need to get these inserts. They're only a few quid. You get them on Amazon. Get them at any PC shop that does water cooling. But they're really helpful. Right, let's do this. So the way we're going to do this is, you get the heat gun. The heat gun's got two settings. It's got like a warm setting, like a hairdryer. And then it's got like an extra hot setting, which melts everything. You need it on the extra hot setting. And what you're going to do is, basically, you're going to keep this over the top of the flame, well, the heat coming out, and you're going to keep it at a level where it's not going to burn. If you had it there, it will just burn instantly. It'll bubble up, it'll blister, and it won't be good. So, and it might take a few practices to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold it, I'd say about this sort of level, and then you slowly come down to where you feel it. And it's quite funny because as you're doing it, you can feel where the heat's hitting it. So like if I was here and I was to go across, you'll hear it go thump thump as it goes through the heat barrier. And what you want to do is you want to keep it in that barrier section. But then say we want to hit this section here. We'll just move it around that section and we'll twist like this as we go. And then what will happen is you'll start to feel a sagging. Have you ever done that thing with a pencil where you do this and it sort of looks like it's bending? It'll sort of feel a bit like that. So you'll be doing this, all of a sudden you'll see it start going a little wavy, and it's at that point you'll then proceed to make your bend. Whether you're using something like this or some magazines, like a couple of Argos catalogues, put them next to each other, they're pretty good to use it with. And it seems very basic, but the thing is it just works. It works amazingly. As you can see, like obviously not in this one, but with our bends in Bishop and the other machines we've built. So, right, I'm going to heat this one up, and I'm just going to do, at this end, I'm just going to do a basic bend, like a 90-degree bend. I'm not going to use these because I can do it freehand, and we'll just crack on from there. So, right, it might be a bit loud, so if you can't hear me very well, we'll see you on the other side of this anyway. So, right, let's have a go. So you'll see the heat gun heat right up, it'll be orange in there. And then basically, as you go over, like you're doing this, you can feel it. So what you want to do is just want to get that area like that and just keep turning. And what will happen is, all of a sudden, you'll start to see it bend. And there's no rush either. Take your time doing it. So I can take it a bit closer, just because I can feel where the heat is. Right, it's just starting to go now. So now what you can do is get someone to turn that off. And you can see it's just slightly bending. And then what you do is, you can just literally put it into the bend you want. So if it was like that, if you want to make it a bit tighter, you can push it a bit tighter. And keep it flat as well. And then just hold it there and it'll dry. If you're using the brackets, you can use them on the desk and you'll just hold it in the bracket like that. And then them two things either side will hold it in place. But it's literally as simple as that. So as you can see there, that's just drying off right now. And you can sort of make little adjustments to it. It'll take a couple of minutes. And as you can see, the insert's just sticking out just so I can pull it out in a minute. Just let this dry a little bit. And as you can see, you've got a 90-degree angle bend right there. Totally freehand, nice and straight. And you've got to remember, I've been doing this a long time, so I can get my angles perfectly flat and straight. Just like this. The hard bit is when you want to do angles like that and they've both got to fit in exactly the right place on the machine, because what you'll have to do is you'll have to, so I'll do another one now just so you can see the trickier part, because that bend's really easy to do, but if you're trying to do another bend where you're trying to get a shape, that's where it gets hard. So right, we'll do another one and I'll try and recreate a U bend in the same angle. So you get it in there. And say we're going to be doing it about here. So you get it in there. But this time you've got to twist the whole thing round. And I'm going to do a funny angle actually on this one, so that then we can see how hard it will be to bend it further up the tube. So I can just feel it's about to go. Just give it a little bit more. You can see it just bending off there. So switch this off. I'm going to give it a different angle this time. I'm going to say we're going to go back. Say maybe like that. So as if we was going back into the machine at an angle. So I'm going to hold that there and you check your angles like that. And then we just hold it. Now, if you're doing this for your machine and it's got to be in a certain place, you can freehand it like this, or you can actually try and make measurements. A lot of people will use cardboard cutouts and things like that to do this with. But this what I'm going to show you next is going to be the tricky part. Because I'm going to try and do a bend here, back that direction. Hope you can see this well enough. I know the camera setup's not brilliant here. I'm trying to do it at this little desk. So there you go, that's set. Now you can see it's an angle going back on itself. Just let that completely cool down. Right, that's nice and hard. So if you had a machine that going in there, maybe you wanted this tube to go back up there. Maybe you wanted it now just to go back in the machine. Either way, what we're going to do is we're going to make out that we need to bend this here, that direction. So what I'm going to do is, this is where it gets tricky, because you've got to heat this pipe up here, but now you can't go all the way around because that's going to hit. So you've sort of got to go to there, and then you've got to come back, and then you've got to go to there, and you've got to come back, and it's just doing this over and over again. It will work fine, but that's just how you need to do it. So what I'm going to do now is, we're going to try and get this bend. So we're going to bend it here, that angle. Let's do this. I'll just switch that on. So what you need to do is, you need to get it where you need to heat it up, but you need to go all the way to there, keep moving it, all the way to there. But you've got to try not to burn it. And like I said, you can feel the heat on the pipe. There you go, so it's just starting to go now. Right, so we turn this off. Now what we do is we get it to where we wanted it. So that's going to be there. And then you've got quite a bit of time to flex it. So now we'll push it into place just gently. So you'd have, try and do it on a desk here in front of you. So as if that was there like that. And you just hold it in place. This is always going to be a little bit trickier when you're trying to get them lined up back in the position for the actual machine. And if you can hear a lot of background noise, that's obviously because we're off work at the moment because of the coronavirus. So all my kids are downstairs partying at the moment. So if you hear them, not to worry. So as you can see, you now got the bend there that's going round that angle. But if so, say like you want to do like this one, and you want to have it in the machine, you've got to plan ahead. Put that down there. You've got to plan ahead where these are going to be. And the hardest bit that I can't show you right now is the entrance and exit point, because that's the part lining them up. You can go back afterwards and reheat them, but generally when you do that, they normally go right out of shape. But that's pretty much it, how you do it. It's just about getting the distance right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this out of here. This is why we use the water, because otherwise it's really hard. I'm going to put that one, I'm just going to chuck that away for a minute. Chuck that out of the way over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when you get too close. Get a bit of water in there. Obviously mine's got quite a hard bend in it already, so trying to get it in there is pretty hard. Especially when it's slippery. So I'll do it on the other side. So right, I've put my insert in there. And you'll notice my one's got a screw in the end of it. What I do is sometimes I put a screw in the end because it's really hard to pull it back out when you get these really intense bends. And what we do is we put a screw in the rubber, and then after that you can get the pliers on the screw and you can pull it out. It pulls the whole thing out. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat the gun up. I'm going to show you what happens on this corner when you get too close. So say, and this is where you're normally at. This is too close, and it's quite a fine line. So say we're there and we're heating it, you'll notice that it starts straightening itself out first off. So at first, you can see it starting to straighten up, so it's trying to go back to its original shape. But now, underneath, I'm going to get it too close. And you'll see straight away what happens. See that blister? So it got too close for too long, and just look now, I don't know how well you can see that on there. It's completely blistered. And you see it underneath, it's all sagging and it's going really nasty. Get the insert out of there and you can see it a bit better. Look, it's just like melted plastic. And that's just what you don't want to happen. Completely burnt. But the basics of it is, once you've got your tube into place, let me find that one. Where's the one that I had that was perfect? Oh, it was that one, we melted it. Once you've got your tube, because this is a tube out of Bishop. our Alien theme PC. Once you've got your tube on, obviously you'd have your, I'm going to move this here a minute. You'd have your fitting on the end. That would be in the machine like that. That would obviously have gone into a radiator there like that. Once you've got that like that, you can make slight adjustments, but it's always best to get it first time. If you need to make a slight adjustment like this end, it's quite hard to reheat it and then just slightly bend it. They have to be perfectly flush on both fittings. So, like as you can see on this one, this has been used. You'll see that when that was flush there, that one was perfectly straight there. You know, where it was going into the rad. If, say, that one's flat at the bottom and this one is then at that angle slightly, it will not fit the fitting and it will leak. So you have to make sure that it's perfectly straight. And then obviously you get your fittings, you slide them on, you put them in, you test them, get all of them in dry, nice with no water in there. Take all the electric cables out, then pump the water around for like 24 hours to make sure that it's leak proof. But apart from that, I think that's pretty much everything. Don't be scared of the heat gun. Obviously don't have no kids around when you're using these things. This thing blows out such heat. I'm not sure if it's like 500 degrees to 1,000. I'm not sure what it is. But generally, if that was to heat you there like that, it would melt your skin off. So be very safe with that and very careful. Make sure you haven't got no kids about when you're doing it and stuff. And apart from that, I hope that answers everybody's questions about pipe bending. If any of you are going to try pipe bending, take a little video yourself and send them onto the Discord, because that'd be pretty cool. And apart from that, let us know what other videos you want to see on the next Patreon video. We find them a little bit harder at the moment because obviously we're working on the magazine. We're working hard on that, and that's going to be going out for free all the time now. Let us know on the Discord Patreon channel what videos you'd like to see next. I know there's been talk of a cable management, so I might be doing that one next. But we'll see what comes up next from here. And apart from that, I'll see you all on the next one. Thanks again to everyone that already subscribes to us and continually subscribed. We really, really appreciate it. It basically helps us to do all these videos and all the extra bits that we can do, like the Twitch and Twitter and all the other bits we do, the Discord. And apart from that, thanks everyone. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.